Hello, good evening, and welcome to the United Stand. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Great show for you tonight. Impromptu. We will do Skype tomorrow night, but we're doing it tonight as well. Manchester United fans around the world divided on this. The tagline of the show: has Mourinho lost his fight? And I think I want to get everybody's opinions on United at the moment, because it's no point me just throwing up what I think people want to discuss. You've got to have your say as well. So we'll be flying into that. I've got Andrew from America on straight away, which I'm going to go to in a moment. But first of all, has Mourinho lost his fight? And what I mean about this, has he lost the fight in the transfer window this summer? Has he lost his fight in the bigger picture? Where is the special one? Where is the happy one? It's all right saying the negativity over the last weeks and a few weeks has been appalling. It has. But we know he's been negative for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 12 months. This has been going on for a long time. So why is that? Has he lost his fight? Is he out of love of football anymore? I said this a while ago. It feels to me like Mourinho's lost his love for football. It's just become a job. The game that adored him has turned its back on him. Is he now ready to turn his back on it? Is it just about the paycheck? I don't know. But first of all, I'm going to get Andrew on. Evening, Andrew. How you doing?
I'm doing really great, Mark. How about yourself?
I'm good. Now, I've asked you to come on. We will be taking calls, but I've asked you to come on for numerous reasons, really. But I know you were at the, was it the Club America game or was it the San Jose game?
Yeah, it was the Club America game. That's my hometown.
Yeah, so you've been to the games. You're one of those American fans who've been to the games. Now, we were just talking before I came on live there about why Manchester United are losing the American fans in America, which I'm sure you're going to tell us. But first of all, American fan, what are your thoughts?
All right, so after the comments from yesterday, I have to admit I was quite a bit upset. Him basically telling me that I wasted my hard-earned money going to the games. I mean, not to try and discuss finances or anything like that, but I paid $100 to go see the game, and I was right behind the goal with all the Manchester United fans there, And for me as a fan, I knew going into it that we weren't going to have the full squad there. I can't help but be a little bit, a little bit lenient on like what was going to be the result and whatever. So for me, that wasn't important. But for me as a fan, what I was excited to go see, the kids play. I was excited to be able to go see, Tahith Chong and Angel Gomez and, honestly, you could just go down the list of all the kids that were brought on tour. I would have been excited to see all of them and just get the playing time in, because ultimately when we already had the World Cup going on, we all knew we weren't going to get the full squad, so it is what it is.
What did you think about his comments about yesterday? Because I'm eager to get this. If I wouldn't pay to go and watch this club, do you think that, I mean, we over here in the UK took that badly and were like, how ungrateful that is. But I did hear what Jose said, and he was like, into Chelsea, more people wanted to be on the beach. It's not the proper teams. But then the flip side of the coin is, over in America, you are getting up at silly hours to watch it. And I agree that we shouldn't go to America every year. We should go to the, Asia and places like that. But did you find that disrespectful that he said, it was almost like he doesn't want to be here?
Oh, absolutely. That was 100% disrespectful to me as if somebody that already went to a game. You basically told me that you phoned it in. You didn't care about what the result of that game was going to be, and you didn't care about what the fan opinion was. Like I said, I was around the bar where all the Manchester United fans were, and you know what we were all excited about? We were all excited to go see the kids play. We knew we weren't getting anything special in terms of the result or anything like that. We knew we weren't going to get like the MLS team result that we got last year, where I think we beat LA Galaxy 4-0 in the first game or 4-1 in the first game. Who cares about a result in the preseason? All I care about is just having fun. Go out there and have fun and look like, you actually care about what's going on. So, I mean, for your point of losing the American audience, I actually think that could be a possibility. I know we were talking a little bit before the show about like how, it seemed like there was more Liverpool fans than Manchester United fans at the game.
65-35 apparently percentage. 65% Liverpool.
And that's what I heard is that it was packed out for them. And I know for a fact that America, we are a little bit of a bandwagon. That last year there was actually quite a bit of City fans that had managed to pop up. You throw the quotes around that, But this year, with all the signings that Liverpool have gone out and made, plus the fact that they went so far in the Champions League last year, there's a lot to be positive about with that. Now, for me, I chose Manchester United as my club because of who they are and what they bring. We are something that is so above and beyond what people can even fathom to understand in terms of just a legacy of what Manchester United is. And it pains me so much to see just a manager that's drolling on about, oh, I wouldn't pay the money to go see this team. I don't have my team here. Blah blah blah. Like the result in a preseason against Liverpool matters. It doesn't matter. Like ultimately, if you had played the kids for all 90 minutes and they had gone out and gotten smacked 6-0. It doesn't matter. It's a preseason result. And you could have just said, hey, listen, they went out there and they tried their best against basically Liverpool's full first-team squad. At least they did something. And that's something I never hear Jose mention is playing for the badge. That's a great point. I've never heard him say anything about, playing for the badge. There's that one meme or whatever it was, GIF where he's pointing to the Manchester United logo from 2 seasons ago when Zlatan was here. But other than that, I mean, can you really think of a time where he's come out and said like anything positive about the club itself?
To be honest with you, I think that he is. I've got to move you on, Andrew, to get another caller on actually, so I'll pick that a bit up afterwards. But thanks for calling in, pal, and really, really appreciate getting that side of it, because it is as we feared over here that actually people over there are annoyed by his comments.
Yeah, no problem, Mark. I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say, and I hope you all can follow me on Twitter at RedBeardedRed. I always will bring opinion to you guys, and I love hearing fan opinion.
Cheers, pal. I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, Mark. See you later.
A nice little plug there. I didn't even have to ask him. But no, what I was going to say is that I just it goes back to what I was thinking about there, is that I just don't think Mourinho's been happy at Manchester United for a long time. And I understand why he's not happy this summer, because he's not getting the players in. But surely somebody at the board must look at it and go, how happy is our manager? What is our future with this manager? Have we got a big decision to make? And I don't think they dare make that decision, to be honest with you. But Jaylee Razak says, I don't care about pre-season. I think that's the point. It is what it is. We knew what was going to happen on this pre-season tour. We've known about it for over a year, that the World Cup was going to happen and that we were going to be missing players. So Jose shouldn't have come into it so negative about, I haven't got my players, A lot of people haven't got their players either. So Cockney Red says the special one is now a specialist in negativity. It is weird, and the thing is, it's so widespread. I mean, look, you're going to get some people out there. Who are saying things like, the way fans are going on at Jose, it's a disgrace, support your club and this, that. But the reality is, he is driving that. And I do support Jose, as people know. I mean, I'm a big Jose Mourinho fan in relation to I don't think he should be sacked. But I can't move away from the fact that he is causing problems at the moment with his negativity. And I'm all one for a siege mentality as well. I've always said a siege mentality is really, really good. But I don't think Jose Mourinho realises that siege mentality, we're meant to be part of that siege mentality, and the players are meant to be part of that siege mentality. It's like he's creating his own siege mentality with just Jose Mourinho and 3 or 4 United players in it, whereas it should be the fans and the players, and that's what a siege mentality is. Anyway, Paul, I know you were going to call in tonight. How you doing, and what do you want to discuss?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah. Jose Mourinho, I suppose. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I mean, it's. I was really disappointed about losing to Liverpool because it matters to me, and I was saying this last night. I don't think the modern fan, all of them, understand that rival with Liverpool, and they call it obsession. So I was really disappointed because I am obsessed with Liverpool, and they're obsessed with us, as you can see from all the stick I'm getting on Twitter today. They hate us, we hate them. It's a rivalry. That's fine. But actually, I've got to be honest. That disappointment disappeared very, very quickly as soon as I heard the comments that Jose made. And I remember you saying a couple of months ago that he gets away with stuff that if a normal manager said just one of those things, it would be massive. But he says so many things, it gets diluted and it just continues because some of the things are unacceptable. I said it today, and I've had a few messages myself saying your point about Jose Mourinho bordering on sexist to Martial is right. He's basically saying that because he's a man, he should be coming back to Manchester United a day after his kid's been born. Yet in the UK, you get 2 weeks paternity leave. It's like, and all the other club managers don't want their players back. They're fine. Delph was a little bit different because it was the World Cup, and I'm not for 1 minute saying that he is being sexist, because I know that that's exactly not what Jose Mourinho's doing. But he's got to be very careful about what he's saying about things like that. And again, what it does do is cause a load of problems.
Yeah, well, firstly, in regards to your passion against Liverpool, that's fair play, and tons of people feel exactly the same, that support United and support United for a long time, or even supporters haven't supported United for a long time. But how do you expect fans to get that passion going and have that rivalry and have that you can call it hatred. I'd like not to call it hatred, but it's a big rivalry. When Jose Mourinho does not give a toss and does not feed that to the fans, he's done the complete opposite. He's feeding to us and he's feeding to the players. He's feeding to everybody that this pre-season means absolutely nothing and all it is training sessions. Now, you can't say it's absolutely nothing and all it is in training sessions when the league starts in 12 days. And nothing's changed, and we're no further down the line than we were at the end of last season when we were all moaning and saying that Mourinho has to change, otherwise he's not going to last, and we're not going to win the league if he doesn't change, and he has to put something in place which is going to move us forward as a team, as a club. I could go on and on and on. And the fact of the matter is, we lived in hope that we would see something in pre-season. Whatever it is, we didn't have to win. It's the way we play. It's not the results. I don't give a shit if we get beat 9-0. If we're doing it in the right way to try and formulate a certain plan to go into the season and win in a different style and a different manner, then I'll be completely accepting of that. And I've got nothing against Jose as a manager, as a person. Nothing against Jose, well, a little bit, but it's the execution of how we're going about it. It isn't the result at the end of the day. And nothing's changed, Mark. Nothing. The season starts in 11 days. Everybody who's on Jose Mourinho's side at the moment, all the Jose ins, literally just have to accept that this is the football that we play. This is our style. And if you're Jose in, this is how we're going to win the title. And the people that are Jose out, which I think there's a few people that are skipping over the line from Jose in to Jose out, the reason why they're doing that is for that fact, that the realisation sinking in that this is us under Jose Mourinho. We'll get good positions, we'll get top four, but this is it. This is the finished product. There is no polishing.
Well, I'm Jose in, as you know, but I think my Jose in is probably different to everybody else's. I wanted him as manager because I thought he was going to win us the title. He mentioned 3 years, and I just want him to have them 3 years. That's what it is. I had hoped we were going to change the style of play. I still think we can, but I've got to admit what you're saying there. It's looking unlikely because this is pre-season. The results don't matter. It is about fitness, but the reality is, if you're going to play a certain way next season, you'd be implementing that in pre-season. He's not going to suddenly play the same way he did last season, then against Leicester go, right, everyone, we're playing a totally different way now. That's not what's going to happen because the team won't be ready for it. And the tactics last night against Liverpool, he could have just played the kids and they could have played attacking, expansive football and they might have got beat, but we'd have been a lot more positive. The reality is, last night, let's be honest, it was side-to-side football, pressed back until we passed it back to Grant, who kicked it out for throwing, or Pereira, who kicked it out. That was our tactics last night, kicking it long from the goalkeeper to two players who were very small. It was very poor. We basically played to not get beat last night, and as soon as they went 2-1 up and 3-1 up, you knew the game was up because we just didn't have any goals in us. And I do agree with that. I mean, the one thing I was going to say to you as well is that I do look around social media. I do look at people. I'm not going to name them because that's not really my style, but they are like the same things that they come out with. They're attacking Martial to defend Jose, which I think is really naive. I mean, these myths about Mourinho, Martial having a bad attitude. How many people said Martial had a bad attitude before Mourinho came to the club? Nobody.
But Mark, that's Jose's tactics. That's his mind games. That's exactly what he wants. That's the way he plays it. His deflection tactics are amazing. His understanding of psychology is fantastic.
Yeah, he's a very clever man.
He's a very intelligent man. But he knows that if he goes into a press conference, chucks a couple of bombs in there, which can be back page, the football gets forgotten about. Simple as that. And that's exactly what happens. And I hate it. I can see through it. It's so transparent. It's the football is not back page material. The fact that he's slagged off kids and slagged off 2 of his players is much more readable. So that's what he does. But at the same, does he go back into the dressing room? We don't see truth and, what's the truth in the dressing room and what's the perception from the outside? We don't know, because Luke Shaw said, you see the stuff in the press and then you see what he's saying to me behind closed doors and they're completely different, and Luke Shaw seems happy. That's probably happening in regards to everybody else as well. So we don't know the full picture. But at the same time, fans need to be appeased. We need to be happy. We're
not part of the thing is with Mourinho, and this has been evident from very early on when he's backed Fellaini, when he backed, the first thing he said before we'd kicked a competitive game, he said, I'm going to make the Manchester United fans love Fellaini. And that irritated me, even though it was the very start, and even though I've stuck with Jose all the way through, I hated that comment because it displayed a total ignorance to what Manchester United fans are. We've been at this club for the 3 years before you. We've been watching Fellaini for 3 years. Don't come in and tell us you're going to make us love a player, which we've seen every little aspect of and don't. And that's Jose. And I just don't think Jose's ever included the fans in his plan at all, which is in total contrast to most successful managers at Manchester United. You've got to include the fans, and Jose just hasn't. He's kept us out of the equation, and he's almost treated us like he treats the press, like, if you're against us, you're against us. When realistically, I don't care who the manager is. If you get the fans on side, it's gonna buy you time. They're gonna protect you, and I think that it's admirable that so many fans are behind him. I'm still behind him, but as you were saying there, the reality is, if you are against Mourinho at the moment because of the way he's treating, I can't have an argument with you because he's feeding that negativity. This isn't like, he's feeding it. He is absolutely. I don't agree with people who are defending him at the moment, and I know a lot of these people, and I get on with them, but I don't agree with them because Mourinho is feeding the negativity. He's feeding it. No one else is.
There's a lot of indefensible things about Mourinho because they're just fact. But it's just, you got to look why he does it and the motivation behind it sometimes. But it's difficult to support Mourinho at the moment, and for me personally, because I can't find anything exciting about United at the moment.
The new season, you know what? To be fair though, Paul, I know I'm speaking hope here, and I'm speaking hope to everybody else. Until we probably hit October, we won't really know what's happening this season. I think we can all, in our own minds, use our experience and predict it, and I can probably mind read what your prediction is, and you can tell us what it is. But there is hope. There is always hope until a ball gets kicked, and he's not totally at fault. The transfer window has been a disgrace yet again, and that's not on him. But the big complaint with Jose is always going to be the style of football. That is on him. So what are you thinking about next season? What do you think is going to happen?
Jose Mourinho, he in his opinion, is very hard done by. Just as a little side note, he believes that with the squad that he has, this is what I think he believes. He got second and he overachieved. He believes that he's not being given the backing by the board, so he's not able to play the football that he wants to. In Jose's mind, he's been hard done by every step of the way. We see a different perception. Well, at least some of us do. But prediction for next season, an unexciting top 4 finish. This is my problem.
I think we will get top 4. I'm glad you said that. I think people are being unrealistic. We'll definitely get top 4 with too good not to.
We're going to grind it out, Mark. We know what's going to happen. We're going to grind it out. We're playing football that frustrates and infuriates me. There's no joy in our football. And then afterwards, there's no joy in Mourinho's press conferences because he gives us nothing. The only joy we have is winning, and the only love that Jose Mourinho has is winning. So, all right, I do love winning. I'd love to win the league, but we're one of the top 3 clubs in the world. And I read on Andrew Southwick's thread. I read all of it, and someone said that we're one of the top 3. This is someone else's quote. We're one of the top 3 biggest clubs in the world. Why can't we have the league and have the football with it? Why? Well, another question. A question I want to put to you, Mark. Actually, I had loads of stuff written down, but I'll just go off on one. I'd need a whole hour to get through it all, but
it's all right. I mean, tonight is a Skype. I'll just say to everyone, tonight is a Skype show, but we're doing a Skype show tomorrow night as well. It's only because Flex and Sophie aren't here, so it is a Skype show, but people might speak a little bit longer than normal. So crack on, yeah, go on.
Yeah, in terms of Jose Mourinho presently, regardless of his history and regardless of his titles previously, because I'm talking, it's been 2 years now. We don't have to write his history off, but we can safely say that he's done a job at United and he should be at a certain place with the squad and, up the league. Up the league, I think he is. With the football in the squad, I don't think he is. But what does he bring currently, right now, as a manager that other managers wouldn't?
I think the problem, I've thought about this long and hard, and I didn't know you were going to ask that, but I've thought about this long and hard, and my answer
Very
is...
difficult question to answer, because I don't bring... If you say, what would we avoid if we brought another manager in like Zidane, in terms of the negativity, in terms of, the winding up of fans? There's a lot of things which, niggle at people in terms of Jose Mourinho that we wouldn't miss, but what would we miss? What is he doing at the club at the moment which makes him unsacrificable and which makes him so important to this club that we have to keep him?
Well, I think, because I've thought this through...
Regardless of his historical data.
Yeah. Well, everyone always asks me why I'm Jose in, and I always say, for what I said a few minutes ago, it's because I think he has to be given the 3 years that he demanded, and everywhere he's been, he does win a title. But that answers my question for you. It's hope. That there can be nothing else. The evidence out there is that he can't play good football. He's not getting the signings he wants. He's not very happy. He's disruptive in relation to the players that we like. So the only thing can be hope.
Want to play for him.
Yeah, it can only be hope. Hope.
That's what I mean. But if you think about trying to get another manager in, he finished second last season. Jose Mourinho deserves the third year. Don't get me wrong. He does because of his position, and he did get the points, and he's done a hell of a lot better than any other managers. David Moyes, all right, LVG, but he deserves the third year. He does. But we're not going to. I'm not going to enjoy it. I can tell by the way we're doing it. In 11 days, nothing much is going to change. But at the moment, that's what I try to put towards myself. If we got a Poch or we got a Zidane, or we got and anybody else, what about Jose Mourinho would be ripped out of their club, which we would miss desperately? And I couldn't think of anything, Mark, unfortunately. And that's the killer.
It is only hope, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, because I think someone else would at least play better football, more attacking football. I think top four's achievable with the money and the resources by a lot of managers out there that we have at the moment. I don't think he's getting the best out of the individual players as a squad. I think he's doing very well to get second. But we're a mishmash of players and we haven't got the balance at the moment. But he's had 2 years at the club to get the balance, but he buys players and doesn't play them, and he knocks the confidence out of them immediately. He says you sit on the bench for 4 months and then expects them to turn it on after 2 games, and if they don't, they're back on the bench. I mean, it's very difficult. I find it difficult to find the positives at the moment in Jose Mourinho. I find it difficult to find entertainment in the football that we're playing. So, in my opinion, it's very difficult. I'll always support United, but it's just difficult to enjoy it, and it infuriates me. It really does. I mean, I've got a ton of other things that written down which are more analytical, but it always ends up at Jose Mourinho. And I sound like a broken record. I won't call in very often because I keep going over the same topics, but this is what annoys me. So this is where I stand. It's difficult. And our future, we've got to think about what happens when Jose Mourinho leaves. There's another big question right there.
Definitely. Well, thanks for calling in, Paul. I really enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again soon.
All right, buddy. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, pal. See you soon. Thanks to Paul there. Make sure you're dropping a like on the video as well. We'll take some more calls. Just want to read out some super chats. Joseph Young says Mourinho is feeding the negativity because he wants to portray his lack of confidence to win the new season with the current lineup with no signings. What else can Jose do? Cockney Red says the special one is now a specialist in negativity. And Google says Mourinho and the Glazers plus the board equals downfall of MUFC. I thought that was a fantastic question from Paul, actually. And if you're not watching live, or you are watching live, if you are watching live, you can actually put comments in below the video now, even when the video is up and running. So although you're writing in live comments, you can go underneath the video and put your comments in there. I'd really like to see people doing that so that I can see what people say, because I think that's really important to understand what it is with Mourinho at the moment that you feel he offers Manchester United. As I said, for me, it's hope. Hope is the thing, because I personally don't think he's in love with football anymore. I think Chelsea damaged him. And I don't think he's in love with football anymore. You look at Jose Mourinho over the last 20 years, even at Real Madrid when he's fighting with the Barcelona coaches, certainly at Chelsea when he's fist pumping and he's going for it. And at United, that's never really been evident. He's never really took to the job. And I think that's because he's lost his love for football and he's just going through the motions. And why wouldn't you? Let's be honest. Why should Jose Mourinho walk away from football when he can earn millions of pounds a year doing something that he's proven he's very good at? But if you lose the passion and you lose the love, are you still the same thing? And I don't think Jose is at the moment. And whether he can reignite that, I mean, that's my concern about Jose. Is this the end? Can he ever get it back? And if he can't ever get it back, then we're never going to get that title that he brings, and it's just going to end badly. Also, I think in relation to the board, yes, you've got Zidane and Pochettino, and you could sack Mourinho, and you could aggressively go after those sort of managers. One, I don't think we've got a board that knows football well enough to do that. I think they're businessmen, and I think in Jose Mourinho, they won't be thinking about it as much as we are. They'll think, well, Jose Mourinho wins titles, let's trust him. They won't be realising that this isn't the Jose Mourinho that wins titles. He's changed a lot. And also, how many managers, how many clubs actually in the summer after you finish second in the league would sack their manager to get Zidane? Not many. I think Chelsea might, Real Madrid might, but they've got ridiculously ruthless owners who sack successful managers to get the next big thing. Realistically, should United be doing that? I don't think they should. Would they do it? Definitely not. So Jose's here next season. Just Mutton says, Mark, what do you think about the leaked photos of Willian and Alderweireld wearing Manchester United kits, real or fake? I felt they were fake anyway. Draughty Devil is a graphic designer and he confirms 100% that they were fake. So, and they look fake. They're the Willian is a tilted Pogba picture. The Alderweireld one is a Spurs picture where they've took the kit off. But they're not. They both could sign for United. Don't watch out for Transfer Day late tomorrow morning. Got some good updates there. But yeah. Please do drop a like on the video for our callers as well. We've got a lot of people watching, so let's see if we can get 1,000 likes. There's a good comment here from Jide Pitan. He says, pros for versus cons of Jose. Cons far outweigh any positives and consequently is detrimental to United. I think at the moment the cons do outweigh the pros for Jose. He can tip those scales back by doing some of the things I said this morning. He needs to get in a room with the board and say, what are you going to do? Because if I was Jose Mourinho, I'd be like, I'm going to fail if you don't give me what I need. And the board have got to say to him, okay, we're going to give you what you need, or we don't want to give you what we need because we don't totally trust you. And if that was the case, you'd both go amicably, let's go, let's part ways. But at the moment, it's very, very odd. And I don't want us to limp into the season because I tell you what, the fans aren't really part of the discussion at the moment. But as soon as you're not going to... What I'm saying is, after a Liverpool game and a pre-season game, you're not going to get the fans vocally having a pop at the team and Mourinho. But if we lose at home to Leicester, or if we lose at home to Spurs in August, that's 3 points dropped already. And we know, in the context of what Man City and maybe others are going to do, you can't afford to drop 3 points. And then suddenly, it becomes a bigger problem. It's not just what's going on with Mourinho, what's going on with the board. It's suddenly a fan voice building massively, and when that happens it becomes a big problem. So, and I don't want that to happen. I want us to have a good start to the season, so let's see what's going to happen. I'm just going to take another call now. Let's have a look, see what we can do. Skype's playing up again. I'll have to wait a minute. Would you rather have... I don't want Pep, so that's the end of that question. Pedro says, Cockneys support your own clubs. Oh, God. Pedro, you're about 100 years too late with that comment, mate. It's totally and utterly irrelevant now. The sooner Jose goes, the better for the club, says Young Lord. I love United, but our club is not the way what Manchester United are. We're a winning club, and Jose's turned us into a negative club. Gazel says, I'm going to put money on Jose being sacked. I've always said I don't think he ever would be sacked anyway. I don't. I really got to be honest about that. I don't think Jose Mourinho ever would be sacked. I think he's a... I think he will walk if not be sacked. But I am hopeful the season's going to start off a lot better. I really am hopeful that it will do, because it's important that we hope is the word that I keep throwing out there, isn't it? Hope. And while you've got hope, you've got a chance. But I've spoken about his negativity. I want to get your points really. We've got a lot of people calling in, which is great. Hopefully we've got some. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, is that Rohan?
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Great show, by the way.
Good. I can hear my voice back in the background. I don't know whether you can cut that so I can just hear you.
Is it better now?
That's perfect. So, what do you want to talk about?
So I want to talk about I have a question for you. I wanted to ask you if you are given a chance, if we are given a chance, like, would you accept a second place again with the same kind of football that we are playing right now? Would you accept it at this moment with Jose Mourinho in charge, or would you rather prefer a different kind of manager and accept that it could be top four or even out of top four in the next season?
Oh, God, what a question. It's really good. Really good question. So I'm picking second place again with Jose Mourinho in his same football, or I'm taking a risk with a better footballing manager that might finish out the top four.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and that might actually a manager who could work with players like Martial and players like Pogba, and who could improve them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a hypothetical question, so it's always difficult because obviously I don't think no one's ever going to have to make that choice. But the reality is, and I know a lot of people in the comments will be saying, "Oh, I'd get rid of Mourinho and I'd go with the person who's going to use Martial." But the reality is, worst case scenario, you might finish out the top four doing that, whereas Jose guarantees you top four playing the wrong way. But having said that, very quick answer: look, Mourinho's got to have the third year, so I've got to say Mourinho, but on the other hand, part of me thinks, do I want another season of that next year? Do I want another frustration? So I'd probably say let's take a risk and get somebody who's going to... Especially the thing that won me over was Martial staying under another manager because I don't want him to go. But what about you? I mean, which way would you go?
I would say I would choose a next manager because probably we'll have the same situation again the next year.
The only thing is, Jose Mourinho, I think if he plays like this next season and finishes second, he'll go anyway. So, effectively, I think Mourinho will be gone.
We are probably in the same situation right now. So, yeah, with the new manager, probably we'll take a step back. But I think we have a better hope that the next step would be a progressive step where our best players would like to stay in the club, and we could attract new, better players. Because the way that I'm seeing is, no new players want to come to United because of the way we play. And I see I feel like they can see that we are not going to win the title again. And probably the best players like Pogba and they could see the frustration in the eyes of Pogba and all the other players. They're miserable under Jose Mourinho. I guess that's the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. I think that a lot of our players aren't happy. They're not happy with the way we're playing football. They may not be happy with Jose Mourinho as well. I mean, just quickly on Pogba, I'll keep killing these rumours. He's not going to leave Manchester United this summer. He may well go next summer, but he won't be going this summer. But, I mean, a question back for you. What's going wrong at Manchester United, do you think? Because we know Jose's being very negative. We all know that he is. But he's clearly not being given the players that he wants. Why do you think that is? Do you think the board... Because the board seem to, like Mourinho from what we see. So I'm struggling to understand why do you think that they haven't bought him the players that he wants?
Mark, to be honest, I don't quite agree with you. I mean, United brought Pogba for him, and he's not using him. We already have Martial at his disposal, and he's not using him. We have Eric Bailly, which he brought. He's not using him. So why would the board give him another 150 million euros or pounds, whatever it is, for players that he probably wouldn't use anyways? And he's probably going to use some players like Matic, and he probably wants to buy 30-year-olds. That's what he wants to use. And why would United spend so much money on 30-year-olds, knowing that they are going to get rid of Mourinho the next year, or then probably in 1 or 2 years anyway? So why would they give him?
It's a good point, actually, and it's something we've spoken about a little bit over the last week, which is, we're all eager for transfers to happen, but the one thing that I would agree with the board with is that if they are not buying players like Willian and Alderweireld and Perisic because they're nearly 30 and they're costing £60 million, you can't argue with the board on that. And if they are what Jose Mourinho wants and the board are saying we're not paying that much, so we either get them cheaper or we don't get them at all, you'd have to agree with them on that. But the problem is we should have other targets, because by not buying those players, we end up with nothing. And I do think that team, even though we've had Pogba and everything, I still do think that if you look at what Pep did 2 years ago, he spent 550 million, we've spent 300. He's bought 20 players, I think we've bought 10. So we do need more players bringing in. I know you're right that Jose has had some money given to him, but I think that squad needs more anyway. I think any manager would have to come in and bring 2 or 3 players in. So that's the thing that I'm concerned about is, all right, the board may not want to buy certain older players, but we should be going and getting alternative targets. And it looks like we're going to end up with nothing.
I guess the problem with the board is, I think the thing is at Manchester United is that the manager and the board are on the same wavelength. And at United, they are not. Board members, I guess they want to see the players being used to the proper limit. I guess they want to see the money they spent are spent well, and they want to see the players that they have brought in are doing the job that they were supposed to do. And the board is also looking at the future. Mourinho isn't. Mourinho isn't looking at the future. Board is. And I think I have to agree with the board in the way that they don't want to bring 30-year-olds to the club. And Mourinho doesn't care. Mourinho wants 30-year-old because he's looking at the next 1 year, probably the next 2 years at the most. I don't think that he's going to be there. He's even hoping to be there for 5 years. No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, that's a fantastic call. A lot of people in the live comments are saying what a great caller as well. So where are you calling from, Rehan?
I'm from India, but I'm calling from Ukraine.
Oh, great. Okay, international caller. First-time caller as well. Fantastic. Yes. Really good call. Really good call. So please do call in again. Really enjoyed it.
Sure. Have a great evening, Mark.
You too, pal. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, really good call. And the reason I liked that call so much is because actually we got like different opinions, which is always good, but it was also put across really, really well. And I think that it's interesting because I sort of do put a lot of blame on the board this summer. I don't think they've delivered, but we don't know what the targets are that Jose Mourinho wants. And if Chelsea wants £60 million for Willian, you've got to say no. He's not worth 40 million. So you've got to say no. If Perisic 70 million, you've got to say no. If Spurs want 70 million for Alderweireld, you've got to say no because these are players who are 29, 30. You've got to say no. But my argument is, why have we not got alternatives? If Jose Mourinho can't get a Willian or a Perisic because the club is saying we're not spending that much money on an older player, why has he not got a backup player like a Pulisic who's 19? Or why is he not thinking about Leon Bailey or someone like that? Is it because Mourinho doesn't want development players, which I'm sure the club would buy? And maybe that is, because of Rohan, maybe we found a solution there. Mourinho just wants players who are nearly 30 and the club is saying, we're not giving you any more players like that. You want us to sell Anthony Martial, who's 22 and is what this club's all about, and we're going to lose money on it, to sign people who are 30 for way over the odds. We're not going to do it. You've got to find alternatives. And maybe Jose's like, I haven't got alternatives. I want them because I want ready-made players. And maybe the trouble is as well, as Rohan said there as well, we've spoken about this. We are a short-term team. If we don't win the title in the next 2 years, Matic is a waste of time buying him. Sanchez is a waste of time buying him because they are nearly 30 now. So those players had to come in and be good in a team that was ready, and we're not ready. And I think that has caused a problem for Jose. Please not Willian, says Tony226. Well, we might end up getting Willian, that's what I would say. Please do drop a like on the video. Really good calls again tonight. Really enjoyed them. And has Jose been asked why we did not re-sign Ronaldo? There must have been a buyback clause in the contract, says Smith. And I don't think there was a buyback in the clause at all. And Ronaldo's gone, isn't he? There has been some really weird. It's been a really weird summer for Manchester United, and we sort of have limped from one bad thing to another. Remember, Fellaini signed a new contract. I never thought I'd get over that. I thought that would be the lowest point of the summer window, and it's not. We've gone from one low point to another. Manan says, it's funny how Jose expects every player to defend when they don't have the ball, and when we have the ball and it's our turn to attack, his plan is to play long balls to Mata and Sanchez. Yeah, but then he says he doesn't like... What did he say about Pereira the other day? I don't like risk. I don't like the risk ball. I don't want to do the risk ball. So It's rather interesting, isn't it? How we get that one side, and then a risky pass is a long ball, and yesterday we definitely were trying to do that. So yeah, it is a little bit odd how we did that, but there you go. If you could ask Jose one question, what would it be and why? Says Soph E. A very good question there from Soph E. Look, if I could ask Jose one question, and he had to answer it honestly, I would say to Jose, why are you not happy at Manchester United? And then he'd say, I am happy, and then I'd get another question, because he's not happy. He's not happy. And as the title of the video says, Mourinho lost his fight, ? Because it's a rhetorical question. Has he personally lost his fight for football? I think he has. Has he lost his fight in the transfer window? I think he is. We can keep going around the circle about Jose, saying he's negative, this, that and the other, but I think Manchester United, as Manchester United fans and as a Manchester United group, whether you're Jose in or you're Jose out, we've got to look beyond the negativity, and we've got to look at why. Because somebody could be really upset and sad, and you might not know the real reason why. You could go to work tomorrow or have a family member who's in a horrible mood tomorrow, and on the face of it, you don't know why. And then you speak to them, and they could have had something bad to happen to them in their personal life. You don't know. So we've got to move past this negativity of Jose's now, which is a very constant thing with him, and we've got to figure out why. It can't just be the transfers, because he was very negative after the Sevilla game. He was very negative a few times last season. This is not a one-hit wonder excuse. Oh, he's not getting the players he wants, so that's why he's being moody, because he was moody last season. Remember when I do the press conference reactions, every time I was like, he's been moody again. I think he's not happy. I don't think he's happy. I don't think he's happy in the job. And I don't think that's anything to do with Manchester United. I don't think it's anything to do with the players. I don't think it's anything to do with Ed Woodward or the fans. I just think he didn't really want to get sacked by Chelsea. His family's in London. He loved living in London. And I think Manchester United's a bigger job than Chelsea, but I don't think he likes being away from his family. I don't think he likes what happened to him against Chelsea. I don't think he likes the way the press treat him. I don't think he likes the way that he's come to a club that's bigger than any club he's ever managed before, and the fans are demanding that things are done a certain way. To be honest with you, in fairness to Liverpool, Roy Hodgson didn't do a terrible job, but they forced him out. The fans forced him out because of the football he played. And Liverpool haven't won titles for however many years, even when Hodgson was there. And they forced him out because of the football he played. Because some clubs, especially big clubs with big histories, have to play a certain way. And I think Jose, going back to what he said when he first came, I'm going to make you love Fellaini. Well, that was totally naive. Fellaini isn't a Manchester United player for a start. He's just not typically a United player. And we'd had 3 years of him, so we pretty much knew that anyway. And Jose comes in and says, I like his attitude. I'm going to make Manchester United fans love Fellaini. It's not about Fellaini, by the way. I'm not slating Fellaini. What it is about is Jose Mourinho didn't get what this club was all about. I think he understood it was a big club, but I think he thought he could come in and do what he does at every club, make it about him, win his way, and everyone will love him. And the problem is, you can't play your style of football at Manchester United and expect to be loved unless you deliver a title. And he's been here 2 years, and we've had 2 years of grind it out football, and we're no closer to a title, and that's why patience is running thin. You can be sensationalist, you can be called negative, you can be called a drama queen, you can be called everything you want, but the reality is, for all those people who are vocal about people moaning about it, and for all those people who are moaning at the people defending Jose, the most simplistic view about this is very simple. And I figured it out a long time ago. The reason United fans are not enjoying what's going on at United at the moment is quite simply because of the style of football. Second place last year, with the football that Pochettino plays, we'd be massively positive. We'd be like, really happy. Second place with the football that Jose played, we may as well have finished fifth. Well, not fifth because we want Champions League football, but people aren't happy because it really does come down to the style of football. And you should be proud of that. And Jose should understand that and acknowledge it and be accepting of it as well. Because we're not disliking him because of the negativity, really. It's not that. I could deal with the negativity if when we went on the pitch, we played good football. So Jose's not being judged in any horrible way. He's not being picked on. He's not being bullied. I mean, you're always going to get people on social media who say things they shouldn't say. But Jose's not being picked on or bullied by the Mourinho. You know, Andrew Ellis, who's never wanted Mourinho at the club, I've never seen him be abusive about Jose. He just says, I don't want him at the club. I don't like his style of football. So Jose's not being picked on by United fans, which is why I always think he's making a big mistake by not including us in his siege and not trying to win us on board, because he would be backed by United fans. United fans are the best fans in the world. And he would have been backed, and he would be backed if he played a certain brand of football. And that's his decision to do it. But it really does come down to that. It's nothing more sinister than the style of football is why United fans have a problem with him. Because second place in the league, with the likes of Phil Jones and Fellaini and Ashley Young at left back, he's overachieving. Like Paul said, he has overachieved. But he's not winning friends for that, because the way he's playing it doesn't win friends. And that's what it is. And that's why this summer, I've always said he's got to change. He will change. Hopefully Carrick and McKenna will make him change. But we've not seen any of that change yet. And we can still change. But the one thing I would say is we're living off hope. We want hope. And those United fans who are out there saying, stop moaning, it's going to be great next season, I think we're going to win the league, stop picking on Jose. The reality is they're probably just doing it because they want to go against the grain. They want to appear to be top Reds. They want to be loyal to Manchester United. It's just their opinion, and that's how they deal with things. So when things are going wrong, they want to be like, oh, no, let's be positive. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. But the vast majority of people at the moment are frustrated. And they're frustrated by the lack of transfers, which we don't know the full story of. But the reality is, if we were playing good football, a lot of this negativity would disappear amongst the fans. It really does come down to that. If we were knocking the ball around and exciting ourselves, we wouldn't be moaning. And surprise, surprise, the game is called football. It really is that simple, and that's what's going on. Anyway, I know I'm apologising because we've only had 3 callers on tonight, but normally on a Sunday Night Live we've got Sophie and Flex, but they're sunning it up in America. One's in Brazil, one's in America. So I didn't want to just do a normal show tonight. I wanted to take some calls and be interactive. So thanks everybody. Not finished yet, by the way. Tomorrow night, I'm going to time limit every call to 5 minutes so we can go whizzing through. So Skype shows normally Monday, Thursday anyway. So we'll definitely do one tomorrow. It was an impromptu one tonight, and we got some really good comments. Drew Dury says United fans should appreciate what Jose has done for us the past 2 years. How fast we forget about Van Gaal and Moyes. Good point. And again, it comes down to the football, doesn't it? It's just about the football. Darren Jones says that apparently Mina's just started following United and is not following Barcelona. What I would say at the moment is there's a lot of crap going around. There's a lot of fake photo shops about players. There's a lot of fake stories going about. There's also a lot of fake Mourinho quotes going around. I don't know who's doing that. Maybe it's Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans, and it's banter. But there's a lot of United fans who are on my timeline who are tweeting things that Mourinho didn't say. There's fake quotes going around there. And if Manchester United fans are doing that, that's wrong. That is wrong. You know, let's have a little bit of class. You might not want Mourinho to be the manager. You might be frustrated with him. But let's not start spinning negative propaganda that he hasn't even said. And actually, funny enough, I've been a victim of that over the last 24 hours as well. I've had people photoshopping stuff and quoting things that I haven't even said. And apparently, you can be accused of something even though you don't say it. Because, it looked like he was going to say it. I mean, this is the world we live in. But what I want to say on a personal note in relation to that is, thanks to everybody who gets involved in the channel. I've got nothing against banter. I'll give it to Liverpool fans, but I will never be abusive and I will never cross the line like some people do. The rivalry is real, and I love football, and I love the rivalry. But some of the stuff that goes out there is just vile. I'm not going to start crying about it. I'm not going to start going, it's a disgrace or anything like that. It's the world we live in, and social media, especially Twitter, needs to be sorted out. It's a vile place, not just in the football arena. For any celebrity or any person, it can be a vile place. So I'm not going to focus on that because that, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. People get away with literally murder on there. They're killing people out there with the bullying tactics that they put in. But all I want to do is focus on the positive, which is the community that we have here, the people we have on this channel, and from a personal point of view, the support that a lot of people send me on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. It matters. I focus on the positives in life. I don't focus on the negatives, because the negatives, the reality is, all you got to do in life is make the good people like you. The bad people, I don't really want them to like me anyway. So thanks to all you good people, and I really do appreciate your support. And you know, I might not be able to reply to you all on Twitter and stuff, but I do read the replies, I do read the retweets and stuff, I do read your comments below, and it matters. A nice comment will drown out 1,000 vile ones. So take that into life itself. One nice word to somebody will drown out any negativity in their life, and that stands to United as well. I think there's a lot of negativity around Manchester United at the moment, and I'm worried. I am concerned. I'm living in hope, though. I'm living in hope. But even if it doesn't work out with Mourinho, Manchester United will still be here. And you will hopefully still be Manchester United fans. Hopefully we haven't got those fans who flip from Chelsea to City to Liverpool. Hopefully you will still be here. And eventually we will get there. And we might have to work for it as fans. We might have to be vocal about it. We might have to put some pressure on to try and get some change. I hope it doesn't come to that, but we might have to. But the reality is we will get there in the end. And it is football. And we do care about it. And Jose has been very negative at the moment, and I wish he would just try and spin a few positives, because we are, as a fan base, crying out for some positivity. The hope is there with me. I just want some positivity, and it might happen. It might happen. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and thanks to all of you lot as well. Please do drop a like on the video for everyone who's called in tonight. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock we have got a Skype show, and 7 a.m. tomorrow morning we're back with Transfer Daily. Hopefully, it's 10 days tomorrow. We're going to start getting some transfer news soon, but we'll see. Manchester United for life, says Ila Sabajan. Exactly. We stick together. We're Manchester United. Thanks, everyone. Really enjoyed the show tonight, and we'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.